Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 424 of Pixels and Ink, the official podcast of CGMagazine, where we take a critical eye to gaming, comics, tech, and media. I'm your host today, Chris DeHoog, and I'm joined by our editor-in-chief, Brendan Fry.
Hello there, everyone.
The Dana Eileen.
That's me.
And Jordan Biordi.
That is me.
Jordan's really
How's everybody
screwing
doing
this
tonight?
up.
Yeah.
Do you see this? Like, I just sit up tall to be an adult, but like, Jordan, what the hell? Why are
Okay,
you
but
8
if-
feet tall?
If I lean back in the chair, you're gonna be like, "Oh, we can't hear you from the microphone."
That is accurate. We cannot hear you.
That's
Yeah,
accurate.
there you go.
I just think it's funny. But then again, I was sitting like
I want
this.
people to see my cool Dracula shirts.
I'm a baby.
I mean, you could just like make yourself
That
lower.
was a cool shirt.
Yeah, but then it's like then you can't see the Dracula.
We don't need to see the Dracula shirt.
Right?
Dracula's
It's an audio medium
awesome.
mostly.
I made myself lower.
And this shirt is great. I love this shirt.
Yes, I do too.
It's so
That
many
shirt is a
Draculas
miserable
all in
pile of
one
secrets.
place.
I gotta get back up. Sorry, folks. Sorry.
This is great.
This
back,
is
guys.
quality
great.
audio.
Aren't you excited? Oh,
Summer's Game
I
Fest.
know.
Woo!
woo. It's summer with a bad
We're
drink.
all hopped up on summer drinks.
And that is the way you have
So
to be.
like, ugh, we don't like to
Again,
put anything
audio
else in.
medium. Just
Yeah.
one
feel
for
I mean,
that
some people
rose
can kinda see
strawberry
it.
would be good, though.
If they're watching the stream,
Maybe you can hear it slush. Just make ASMR. I don't
That's
know.
why you get
Okay.
the best drink. H2O.
Water?
It's been an
outta
ongoing
here.
effort to make this
Nectar
into
of
an
the
ASMR
gods.
podcast over the years, and it's not happening.
I mean, I'm happy we don't do that.
Love ASMR. So good.
Anyways,
I have nails to
Uh,
do that now. I'm so excited.
Oh, we're so far off the rails already.
Are you guys glad I'm back?
Yes.
Are you
we'll get
guys
this in
thrilled?
post, right?
Yeah, we're gonna
No, we
clean that
will
up.
amplify this. Make me louder somehow. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Dragon noises for no reason. Continue.
But no,
I'm
we're not.
done.
But we're not here to talk about ASMR. We're here to talk about SGF, the Summer Games Fest.
It's a
We
good
are.
one.
But before we do that, actually, Dana and Brendan, you guys were just traveling recently to
We
an
were.
unconventional
What?
location for the games industry.
He was there? I didn't invite him. Yeah, we just got back from Iceland.
Mhm.
Business Iceland sent us there, which is really cool. It was called Iceland Innovation Week. So people from all over the world, they made this this convention. They call it a festival instead,
Mhm.
and it's all over town. There's parties. There's like our first meeting. A bunch of like fintech people gave us very serious presentations with a beer in their hand. So Iceland's cool.
Like,
Mhm.
no, damn, that's cool.
But we learned a lot about gaming. Brendan and I learned a lot about fintech, which we didn't need to, but that was the other
We
topic.
did a lot of fintech.
I know stuff about AI now. It's been a big week. But yeah, we got to do some cool things. So CCP Games is in Iceland, so they make EVE Online. We got to go to their offices, which like I thought our offices were pretty cool, but they're not anymore because when you work there for 10 years, you get a sword.
Yeah, we don't
Like a
have
big
swords here.
sword.
Yeah.
And if you work there for 20 years, you get a bigger sword. So that's pretty great.
I respect all of
Look at
this
the
so far. I'm behind all of this.
Chris, I will have to send you the pictures of the swords if I
They're
haven't
really cool.
already.
Oh, I thought you were
Um,
going to send me a sword. Okay, cool.
No, sorry. Nobody will give me
Yeah.
a sword. It's
Yep.
rude. Yeah, so CCP Games was cool, but the most interesting thing to me between the tech side of things and the gaming side of things is that for the first time in my, I don't know, is this a career now? In my career, I wasn't the only woman in the room.
Mhm.
We got there, and the people that founded the festival are 2 women younger than me. We won't talk about how old I am, but 2 women younger than me. Everybody we met at Business Iceland, for the most part, was a woman.
Mhm.
So many of the people that we saw working for game studios, running the tech companies, were women. They were queer. They were non-binary, transgender. Like it was the most diverse in terms of that. Very pale group of people, but
Mm.
but they're working on it.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. I got to talk to a lot of women that have been alone in the industry the way that I have, and there will be more coming on that. But yeah, it was refreshing, and like we got to sit through a thing just about Iceland and about how they're developing, and
Mhm.
I just want to move to Iceland now. I said that's my.
It's
I was
very
like, yeah,
pretty.
let's do it.
Very pretty country.
It is pretty. It's a little cold, a little wet.
Lots of sunlight.
Yeah.
Or none, or no sunlight. You get
Yeah,
one of the.
the other, but that's fine. Depends on the time. of year.
Gamble. It's fine.
Kind of off topic, but something that I learned is all of their last names they either end in Dotir or son. So their last names will be the name of their father, and then Dotir is daughter, son means son. So
Hmm.
it's like in Chris, it would be Chris Dotir or Chris
I
son.
learned that in God of War Ragnarok.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a girl.
because you meet Thor's daughter, and her name is like her name is what? Yeah, it's Thor's daughter.
That makes sense.
Like,
Oh, there you go.
That is a
Yeah.
very accurate way of describing someone's last name.
That's funny.
It's an efficient way. Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, it was really cool. I sat down with somebody and she said her name and went, "Brrrr," and I went, aha. And she literally had to email me later to spell her name.
I think it's interesting. It's interesting when people have the same name as their dad. So it'd be like Christian Christensen.
Hey, man, gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
Junior Juniorson. Yeah.
Good old Junior. Yeah, it was neat. It was a lot of fun. CCP has their fan fest in September, and they just announced. I guess there's already a documentary out, but they've announced another documentary they're making about EVE Online, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of really cool little games coming out of. They have, what did you say, Brendan? It's the highest per capita.
Yeah.
Like game studios than anywhere else in the world. The only people close to them is us.
That's because there's like no one there.
Yeah, but everyone that we spoke to was like, oh, well, they came from CCP.
Yeah.
Everyone at some point worked at CCP. And then, yeah, it was neat.
Yeah.
I dug it. And that's my story.
It's like
It's
the
a good
ground
story.
floor. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a rite of passage. You'll have to work at CCP before you can do anything else.
pretty much, yeah.
That's
That's all I
very cool.
got.
So we're looking forward to reading more about that on the site. That's especially
Mm-hmm.
the one article you got coming up there.
There's some interviews and then like a few angry articles. It's fine.
And all the better. Love your angry articles.
I guess.
They're the best.
Or the most incoherent. We're not sure.
Rage
Continue.
is rage.
Rage is rage is rage.
Try to, what is that symbol someone put in the
What did we
Spooderman?
do?
Someone wrote Spooderman in their
you like that, eh?
Spooderman? Why?
I've never seen that Magic the Gathering tap symbol on top of the U there, but
That's the
Oh,
same
there's a
using
little
yoga
symbol in
cruise.
Iceland that looks like an airplane. Anyway,
There is.
continue.
I-
Sorry.
Yeah, someone was
We-
typing to it.
what's it mean, though? nothing means
Cool.
nothing.
Oh, it just made him
means
happy.
boat.
Let it be.
Ironically.
Oh, I know. I meant your airplane symbol you were talking about.
Oh, I have no idea. It just makes
Oh.
it sound like something, but I couldn't tell you what if you paid me.
Yeah, fair.
I can
Audio
say
medium.
almost none of their names except for Olaf. There were many Olafs.
So some Christians
Yoo-hoo.
too.
So many Olafs.
How many of
I'm
them
not
are
kidding. I
Slovens?
wish I was. I met a woman named Olaf, I feel.
Really?
Yeah, one of the girls I interviewed, her
Oh.
name is Olaf.
Okay.
I was
man.
looking today.
Weird.
But far cry from Iceland is LA, where Summer Games Fest is being held next week.
Literally as far different as it could be.
Literally, pretty much, opposite
Yeah.
side of everything.
Yep.
Yeah, and Dana and Brent, you're heading there as well because we CGM as judges
Yep.
at Summer Games Fest again.
Yeah. No, not
So
again. We did the Game Awards.
Well, it's all the same. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's connected.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff said you get to be there, and it's the same event. Anyways, so we thought we'd kick things off with a little pre-show and talk about some of the things that we think we'll see, some things that we think we
What we
won't
can
see,
talk about at very
and-
least.
Yeah, some of that too.
Well, they can talk about whatever they want. It's you and I that can.
Well, that's valid.
So I'll just dance when it gets weird.
Audio medium, that's the name of the episode. But yeah, anyways, am I in trouble?
No, you're good this time.
We don't know.
Okay.
We'll find out.
All right, cool.
Anywho,
Didn't know that was a top secret. Anyways,
I guess I don't really know either, which is why I'm confused.
it's fine. Just start dancing.
So
anyways.
strawberry.
So, what are some of the things that we hope to see or that we think we'll see? Again, not including things that we know, if there are any from two
No,
of you.
there's lots we don't know, right?
Yeah,
Like
there's a lot we don't know.
There's a ton of like unannounced things. There's the Xbox showcase. We have no idea what's coming, and like that's
your dream.
that's my place. I saw Forbes. They were like, Fable, you will see it, and then I died a little. I think I messaged everybody.
Mhm.
Messaged my brother. I'm like, look, oh my god. He bought me my first Xbox, which is where I played Fable as a gift Christmas. So it was a moment. Like if I at the Game Awards, I was like, we're gonna see Fable, and then I was like, I'm gonna cry. This is gonna happen, and I was sitting alone with a bunch of strangers, so that would have been awkward. But now it's gonna happen.
100%.
It's gonna happen.
Well, hopefully, for your sake, I hope it does. I want, as I told you, I want to hear you like scream, cry over the crowd.
Do it. We'll do it.
I'd be very curious to see if that actually happens because that's something that's been talked about and bantered around for a long time and hasn't materialized yet. I'm not sure what shape it's going to materialize in.
I mean, there's a lot of talk, especially with the release of Redfall, about like Microsoft's release slate. So I think there's a lot riding on what they do show, especially because the what's it called? The Activision Blizzard deal is still kind of ongoing. So right now, everyone wants to see what they actually do beyond just possibly getting all the Activision properties.
Actually, that's a good point too. That will probably see Starfield. I think that's pretty much a given for the showcase, at least.
There's an entire showcase for Starfield after the main showcase.
Yeah, Starfield's all on its own. Are you guys into Starfield?
I mean, it's cool it exists, I guess.
That's really enthusiastic.
I'm curious, but so that's gonna be on PC too, right? Because like I'm not gonna run it and buy.
It's PC and Xbox, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but have you seen Xbox's slate lately?
Yeah.
Come on. Oh,
What's
that
that?
is air conditioning, by the way, which Brendan did not shut off.
I should do that.
Awkward.
I'm wearing slippers because my basement is cold as hell because of air conditioning. So
that's fair.
To be fair, it's a crop top hoodie if that counts. Nothing from the waist down is warm. I'm so sorry.
Episode title number 2 right there.
Yeah.
Just Winnie the Poohing it up in here.
Can I say shirt cocking it? Is that allowed?
I mean, you just did. So I mean, Arrow has left the shaft. Yeah, I don't know. Starfield's again. I'm. Fuck. We missed you, Dana. We missed you.
Brendan's gonna fire me. I'm not going to Summer Game Fest, guys.
Oh damn. Yeah, Starfield. I am curious, but skeptical. I'm open to being wowed on it, but like I said, I'm not going to run it and buy a Series X for that only because there's not much else going for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot riding on Starfield, but I'm hoping Microsoft has more to bring out. I know they probably will have another Forza.
They have to have more to bring out. Yeah. It's a separate showcase. First one, hey guys, we're Xbox, on to Starfield.
And then come back for Starfield later.
Yeah, more Starfield.
I hope we get some Fable.
Look at the PlayStation showcase. Sorry, but they can show partner stuff that doesn't have to be like exclusive stuff.
That's I mean, they do have like the Doom properties. They have not going to do anything with Quake, but they still have it.
You heard it here first, folks. Quake coming.
I could see them doing something with like Forza. I could see them doing something with maybe show off a bit of Fable, something.
Don't say maybe a little something. I'll kill you. We will see the whole game. I will be the only person that can play it, and then I'll cry.
It's like Willy Wonka up in there.
Yeah. I really want to know what we're gonna do. What other games do they have in the pipe? Like anything we saw last year that didn't come out.
Something new.
I don't think so because there was Redfall.
State of Decay.
Yeah.
And Redfall. Remember Redfall? That game existed.
Hey, Redfall was great. Everybody else can suck it. It was fun. Brendan, you watched me play so much Redfall. You're like, this is fine.
I think it looked fine. Apparently, there's a rumor. There's a report going out right now where a lot of the people that worked on Redfall were kind of hoping it would be canceled by Microsoft, and it never was.
So they just phoned it in. What if
so
we made the glitchiest game in existence?
greasy, shiny. Okay, so I don't know if I'm just like sassy and I thought this is what was happening, or if other people noticed this, but you know how PlayStation was like, "Hey, we're having a showcase like in 3 days, go."
Yep.
When all of these other showcases have been set up forever.
Mhm.
So like, okay, that's a little salty, but that's fine. If you watched, Xbox right after announced all the games that
Yep.
PlayStation announced first.
Mhm.
So it looked like there was a series of games that were planned for the Xbox showcase, and then PlayStation jumped in and did it first.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
Xbox was like, oh. So
Oh,
that night,
fuck.
you just saw like every 10 minutes an Xbox announcement after it.
Yep.
And they were all the ones that PlayStation had just said. So I think I think PlayStation kind of got the jump on them. So I feel
100%.
like we're not going to
PlayStation
see a
ate their
whole
lunch.
lot of excitement aside from maybe exclusives like
I mean, I
Fable
think
or-
PlayStation, because they aren't doing the theater demo and all that other stuff, they could just move the date the showcase wasn't like, yep, it's now a week before everyone else is.
That's what
Haha.
happened. What about Elder Scrolls?
I don't think
Like
they're
a
gonna. They said they're not
ballsy
going to do.
move. We're not.
Said they're not going to do anything with Elder Scrolls until after Starfield's out.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they can't announce it. Starfield's out like not too long from
I think they've already announced the new
re-announced
Elder
it,
Scrolls.
yeah.
But we've seen nothing. We've seen
A title card.
the title. Same with Fable.
Yeah.
So if we might be getting Fable, guys, let me dream.
That's fair.
This is my place to dream.
There could be a teaser. They could have a very small team doing concept stuff because I mean
What
Starfield
we-
is close.
What we could see is I could see Microsoft being salty and announcing their new like Xbox Series X Pro.
Does
Yeah.
it come with games?
No, just
no.
Diablo 4.
It comes with Kinect, and that's all you get. There's no controllers.
Comes with a literal
I-
bar freeze attached to the side, and that's the Pro.
I could see them doing something with like teasing the new Xbox and just kind of like showing a new logo and saying it's now twice as powerful.
Mhm.
Because I know there's been a lot of talk about Xbox doing something new hardware wise, especially with talk about the PS5 Pro, and I can see Microsoft kind of be like, okay, we're putting it back in the showcase because Sony screwed us.
Or maybe it'd be like a Series S Pro. It's 3/4 as powerful as the Series X instead of half. As
I mean,
powerful.
yeah, I could see that. I could see them just making the Series S
50% more expensive than the S.
or just making it so it's yeah, I don't know. Their naming scheme makes no sense. So sure.
Series S Pro X. Something
Or
stupid
a
like that.
Series X Mini. What's the size of
new
a Series S?
X Pro.
No, that's Nintendo's shtick.
Yeah.
I'm already
The Super
Great naming
Series S.
scheme. Everyone loves it.
But there's also the stuff that because Microsoft's one of the last things, it could also do like they could have more screen wow trailer footage from Mortal Kombat. They could do all this other stuff to kind of make it so Sony can only do so much because they're before the
yeah, like Xbox now has Sony's hand.
Yeah.
So they could be like, pull this, and they might
Yeah.
pull a bunch of shit that probably isn't ready, but that's fine. Ow.
I mean, it just has to work for like 10 minutes. You're fine.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they've
But-
been doing though. Like, how
Yeah.
long ago did they announce Elder Scrolls 6?
Oh, that's like
20
4 years now.
That was long before I was here.
2018 even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was
So-
at there. Yeah.
it's
It
really
kinda
possible
feels-
that they do that.
It kind of feels too like Sony's state of play like
Mhm.
showed off so much good stuff that it really doesn't matter what Microsoft shows, like unless they come out like with here's Halo 7, like
I mean, what didn't they just cancel a part of? No, they canceled a part of. Oh my dear God! So Blizzard canceled part of
Oh, Overwatch. The
Overwatch.
PvE.
Didn't
yeah, they got rid of that stuff.
Halo cancel something else as well?
They still haven't
Halo-
done the local co-op or
Yeah,
think they canceled
didn't
that.
they say that
Co-op.
was in the can?
I thought they said they
if
canceled it.
it's not officially, it's
For
circling the drain.
Overwatch?
Yeah.
No,
for Halo Infinite.
No, for Halo.
Oh,
Did
Halo.
the Foundry stuff come out yet or no?
Halo's such a weird property because it came out like a while ago and it's still not finished.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
2021.
like
yeah.
unless they come out with something big like that, like here's like a bunch of new content for Infinite. We didn't forget that game. Or like here's a new Gears of War teaser. Like really capitalizing
Gears.
on
I could see
Yeah.
Gears.
It's time. Yeah.
it kind of
Put
feels
enough
like
time.
again, like Bethesda really has been like pigeonholing like
Yeah.
both Starfield and Elder Scrolls to the point where it's like I don't think even when they announced the Elder Scrolls 6, like they weren't even remotely. I don't even think that game was started when they announced
Yeah.
it.
I
Like,
agree.
because they would have had at least something to show for it. They
The
had
font was
nothing.
actually wrong. It's a whole new.
Yeah.
It's just a
Like,
quick Comic
it's gonna be a
Sans.
Grand Theft Auto
Throw it up.
6 too, right?
Mm.
That's what I
Grand Theft
feel.
Auto 6, they're
Oh,
like, "Yo, hey, we're working on it," and it probably was just like a memo, like, "We should do this." At that
to
point, like,
begin game.
yeah, here's a
Wouldn't
cocktail
it be
napkin
cool
with half a
if?
sketch on it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Yeah, like there's no stealing Sony's thunder in my opinion after that.
I disagree.
extended, like,
I 100% disagree with you. I think going first is like it's like a
it makes you forgettable.
BDE move, but I don't think it makes you vulnerable. It means that Microsoft now has those 2 weeks to plan and get a few extra things going. It does probably mean the Xbox Showcase is going to have weird demos that are like, this is kind of not done yet, but here you go.
Don't look that way.
See, but
It's
that
blank.
but to that very point, like if that like see that to me reads more of desperation. Like if all they have is like some like beta footage of unfinished games, whereas
But I mean,
like
Sony's, there was very little. I mean, I like my PlayStation 5. Cool there. But I don't think there was that many exclusives at Sony. And they made it seem like all those games were exclusive. A lot of the games they showed off. Hell, I even think Marathon is coming to Xbox. So whatever.
I'm gonna go find.
what
the
about
freaking
Phantom
tweet.
Blade Zero? Because that just looks like some goddamn witchcraft of gameplay. I don't know how they're pulling off all that like reactive like sword stuff, but
I don't know.
although,
I
my
do
god.
all three companies do that too, right? Like if
Yeah.
you look at Nintendo showcases, there's a lot of stuff in there in the middle sections that's
Yeah.
multi-platform. Last
Mhm.
year,
And I think- and that's what- and I
Xbox
think-
showcase was half that type of stuff too, right?
And I
Everyone
think-
does this.
And they were kind of cagey, like this entire one game is exclusive. The rest are just on Game Pass or something.
Yeah, hold on.
Xbox could show them up, but I don't. It's an uphill battle, I think, because
Yeah,
I don't think they
'cause-
have much to show that's going to wow anybody, right? Like,
And that was
I mean-
that was exactly my
Clearly are
point.
not
is that
Xbox people.
the
well,
stuff
I mean,
that Sony
Starfield is
brought
being kind of
out-
lukewarm so far, right? It's
I
Like,
think
I
the
don't
problem is, I think the
who-
problem is Microsoft. I'm going to go now because if not, nothing's going to happen. I think the problem is Microsoft has a lot of IPs and a lot of like brand recognition, but a lot of their stuff is kind of homogenized. Like there's like a few different Forza series, but they all kind of look like Forza. The
Cars.
Halo franchise has lots of different like branches. There's also they own the Age of Empires franchise. They own a lot of stuff, but I don't think their brands are quite as iconic as Sony's.
No, because
I think, like- So I could now you can go.
yeah, no, I was just about to say like who was honestly expecting like an actual like big like Metal Gear remake.
But but that's coming to Xbox as well. So who cares?
Is it actually? I thought that
Yeah,
was.
it
I
is.
thought Sony
Nope,
still
nope.
had the rights to
I'm
that.
trying to find this dang thing, and I'll tell you all.
I think that one's coming to Xbox as well because Konami likes making money.
That is true.
It's
They do
pushing
love their
through, yeah.
money.
that being
mean-
said.
Okay,
One thing I
there.
want to see at Summer Games Fest is actual footage of the collection and the remake because I want to
Yeah.
actually see something.
Now, I could be
Yeah,
wrong. This might not be the picture exactly, but
Okay.
essentially what Xbox did was sent out a coming to Xbox, and
Yeah.
there's 12 games on here. So we've got Immortals of Avium,
Mhm.
Ghost Runner. Yeah, is that what that says?
Sure.
Marathon, Metal Gear Solid, Dragon's Dogma, Alan Wake 2, The Plucky Squire, Teardown, Assassin's Creed Mirage, The Talos Principle 2, Cat Quest, and Neva?
Never, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Either way,
Was it
Cutscene,
Metal
yeah.
Gear as well or no?
I don't
No.
see it there. but
Okay,
that's-
so maybe it isn't.
Oh wait, Metal Gear Solid 3 make
There you go.
or 3.
Remake.
Three
I like
To be
it.
fair, I like that.
I feel
That's the
they
new name
should
right there.
Rebrand.
Yeah, it's a remake.
Fuck Delta.
Um,
Call it remake. 3 make.
I just saw an
Yeah.
article online that said it's Delta, Metal Gear Solid Delta, not Triangle.
Well,
I mean, yeah, given, of course it's that way. Why would it be triangle?
I didn't think so because it's 3.
and they also had to like how to come out and say, yeah, Hideo Kojima's not in this, and of course. Of
Yeah, I
course
think
he's
he
not.
came out, they both sides are like, yeah, I'm not involved. And Konami's like, yeah, he's not involved.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
But yeah,
I
no,
think
it is on the official Xbox YouTube. So
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I think that like
But I
you know
mean,
we're never going to agree between Sony and Xbox. Like it's a never-ending battle.
I
And
don't have any
think that
brand loyalty.
I think Sony had. You always play Xbox.
yeah, no.
I think Sony had their big games this year, aside from Spider-Man. I think
Yeah.
they did it all in the first quarter,
Hmm.
and it's going to be aside from the non-exclusives
Yeah.
from here on out. That is my
Yeah.
opinion. Xbox has done nothing but kind of fail and piss off PC players.
Yeah, they're real bad.
So-
So maybe don't do that.
Maybe there's nowhere to go but up.
I do think it's interesting
Okay.
that Bungie is now wholly owned by Sony, but they have a game that's coming straight up on multi-platform.
That was
Yeah.
probably one of the rules. You can't just take over the world, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
it might have been in development too before.
But it's not hard to just cancel a SKU. Stop making the Xbox version. Stop making that
Yeah.
extra export function when you
Like-
release a game.
No, but maybe
They
that
did
was
it with
one of the
Redfall, so-
deals.
Yeah, maybe that was like when they started development. It was like one of the deals they like Dana said.
Mhm.
Like
was
to
gonna be
buy
a
the studio, they
multi-platform
want to be able to
deal.
do that. Yeah, yeah.
Somebody listens to me, Jordan. God,
I did listen. I
just
I-
don't care.
I just think it's interesting because
I just
Microsoft,
disagree.
because Microsoft, when they bought Bethesda and stuff like that, like everything's going to be multi-platform. Because why would we hold games back? And then it's like Starfield's not multi-platform. Sorry.
Yeah, people stop wanting to buy their stupid system. And they're like, Gaon.
Starfield
Maybe
and
we should
Redfall
make it-
both got canceled.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's
It's like
Um,
the or the Arrested Development Creed. Like I love all my children equally. I don't really care for Gob.
Yeah.
It's that whole
Oh.
situation.
You guys are a mess. So here we're gonna take a quick beat. Okay. Just because this might be good or might be bad, we'll see. Do you think there is opportunity through these showcases, whether it's indies, whether it's like
Mhm.
Xbox exclusives, whether it's what we see at Summer Game Fest or Ubisoft or whatever, do you think we will finally get something original? Something
No.
that isn't a copy of, something that isn't a sequel to or a remake of? Do we think we will see one thing throughout this whole summer showcase nonsense that will be like, that's cool?
was
I think
gonna say
Marathon-
Foam Stars, and then no, that's not quite.
That's just straight up Splatoon.
Yeah.
Splatoon meets Fortnite. Yep.
I
Yeah.
think Marathon is unique, even though it technically is a sequel to a game from like the early 90s.
So no is your answer.
Yeah, and didn't
That's-
it like isn't it its own kind of genre? Because I've seen a lot of people like talking about marathon shooters.
It's like the Running Man, but no marathon shooters. They just mean it's a marathon of a game that's a shooter. They don't mean it's in the franchise Marathon.
Oh, okay. I thought I was because I had not heard
Marathon is a
of
word that has
marathon.
multiple meanings.
Marathon is kind of
True.
funny in that it kind of lived on for a long time in Halo as like a term
Yeah.
that they used to bandy about and stuff,
Yeah.
and like maybe even in Destiny a little bit too, because it was a thing they made in their infancy, and
I want
the
them to bring back
game
Myth.
died and was only relevant as a name that they kept alluding to in their own work.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah, when I saw them come up with that, I thought that was interesting. It's the closest thing we might get to something original outside of the indie showcase.
I mean, to be
The indies
fair,
are always going to show us something
or-
new and interesting, but the big studios
I don't
aren't
think
doing
it-
that type of stuff.
I don't think Marathon has very little to do with the original game because the original game was a very different type of experience. I
But
think
they're still borrowing. They're
From the-
still riding on those coattails. They're still borrowing that universe, whatever. That's, I don't know. Like, I want to say I'm ready for something new, but then anything that looks kind of like Dragon Age or Elder Scrolls or Fable, I'm like, I'm in. You
And
could also
we
give me
all-
another Mass Effect. Maybe
I
another
mean, I
Fallout.
think it's the indie scene. You're going to see a lot of the really unique stuff
Yeah.
because it's easier to take risks when the game costs, $2 million rather than when the game costs $200 million.
Well, I think
I
it's
guess,
and
yeah.
it's also more indicative of the indie space that they are willing to take more risks because like
Cheaper.
they're not designed by committees like a lot of AAA games are, where it's just like this game needs to make X amount of dollars. So how do we reach the widest
mean,
possible
okay.
audience?
Jordan,
They're agile
I
enough.
do argue one thing about the design by committee concept. You make it sound like I am not going to take the corporate side here, but if you
Sounds
have
like you're about to.
a game,
There's a butt there.
when you have a game and you are giving it a budget of ludicrous money, You aren't going to be like, now do anything you want.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you take an indie title that really wants to actually make it,
Yeah.
the company that's funding that's
Yeah.
publishing it, that might be like, okay, but no, like that's not going to work for us. Okay,
Also,
but
those
don't
certain
take that
games,
risk because
not
nobody's going to want it.
every game needs a ludicrous budget for
No, I don't think
reason
it
other
does.
than to have one. Like,
But my point is, if you're talking about games by committee, those games by committee are games that are huge. I mean, if you're talking about, like, there's a lot of games that take risks and do new things, but they don't need that massive budget. So you don't need like 300 people's hands in the pie to make it work. It's when you get the games that are so huge that you have like 5,000 people working on it that it has to be designed by committee, because if not, it would be a mess. And we've seen that when we Destiny 2 or Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, there was a lot of problems with the fact that they got a lot of money to make the game and they really didn't have the checks and balances to make it work. So you had every team that was working on, like, the character team was not talking to the level team, so it was this massive thing, and eventually you had to bring it together, and you had to have someone that's saying, okay, here's what's working, here's what's not, because you can't have everyone just doing what they want when it is a massive project, or you get things just never release,
but
like
also
Duke Nukem Forever.
Like Elder
with
Scrolls
the
6.
with the example of Destiny 2, like there was also a lot of like design that you could see was very much in place to support the microtransaction loot box economy that the game just needed to have for some reason. So the game was a shitty experience when it started because it was fueled by greed, and that wouldn't come from
Is that
like
not how video games work now?
developers.
Don't you just put out a game that's not done and hope for a patch and some DLC? Cyberpunk.
Sniggle.
Salty.
Committee. No.
I actually never had a problem with Cyberpunk.
That's more what I mean. Like when you have when like independent developers aren't necessarily bound by those same like systems of making ludicrous amounts of money, which more realistic we've all seen in this industry are like 98% fueled by greed. You get more unique products because you're getting things that are actually made by developers who care and who want to make like quality products. Not to say that like AAA companies don't have developers who want to make good products. Just what ends up happening that they start getting shackled by their publishers. Say, oh, but it needs to also have this and this and this and this economy and this thing, and like, and it turns into this homogenous mess. Like look at like Avengers. Avengers could have been an awesome experience, but Square needed to have a battle pass and microtransactions and
we're not going to get away from that now, though.
Post-game bullshit.
No.
Like,
I think that's just what games are now.
Yeah, I think
that's just unfortunate.
I think
that's what AAA games are.
No,
I've played a lot of indies that have been really good.
I mean, okay. If you're, again, I say, bring back to the point, if you're making a game that's going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars, it can't just be the point of sale price. And there's no way around that. If you're talking to a room,
especially digital.
Yeah. If you're talking to a group of people that say, hey, invest this much money into our game, and you just say, hopefully people buy it, and that's the end of the story, you're not going to have...
People got into the business of making money and seeing how other people are making money. So yeah, Jordan, I will say it definitely is like AAA games. They're the ones that are, hoping to make all the bucks. That's how they're
literally all the money.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally.
But yeah, I don't think that's something we're going to see go away.
No.
And I think
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hot mess. On that note,
what live service game are you most excited to see?
I mean, how many different skins are we going to see in Fortnite?
Damn it, Chris.
Yeah, why don't we see anything from Fortnite, yo?
Because
they just do their own thing now. They just dumped a bunch of new skins in the game.
I haven't. Yeah. Okay, so my ex-husband, while I was gone away, he was watching my daughter for me because he's great, and I get a message. He's like, "Yo, I got all your Star Wars stuff done." Oh, I guess you're on my Xbox. Thank you. Like, I haven't played that game in a minute. So I guess I'm probably a few levels higher. I was going to ask, though, Jordan, I think you're excited for this one, the new Story of Seasons. Yeah. What I was
Yes.
gonna ask about those games, obviously they go through Nintendo. Do they go elsewhere, or is it eventually?
They also are on
No,
other
yeah, no,
platforms.
they're everywhere
Yeah.
now.
That
Okay.
new one should be on everything, I think.
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
launch.
Well, see, I'm looking at like just general story of seasons. It's like Marvelous, Nintendo, Xseed Games, more. I'm like, okay, where do they go?
I think a few of them, like what was it, like Friends of Mineral Town, Pioneers of All of Town, those like went to Nintendo first and then
Mhm.
went
Makes
on
sense.
PlayStation like a year or so
I-
later.
Thought I
Yeah.
knew they went to PC. I didn't know about PlayStation or Xbox.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
Wonderful
because
Life is
I
released out on Steam same day.
Because
yeah.
like that
Nintendo.
game's coming soon, right? Like
End
in
of
a
the
I think
minute.
so.
Yeah.
So
like,
I wonder if maybe we'll see anything from that, or is that too close?
It's a remaster too, so
Oh, is it
I
really?
mean maybe
Well,
there'll be a bit of a
Mhm.
push, but
I'm getting fired. I don't know shit.
there's not a lot to show per se.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
I think
did like that one on GameCube though. I am actually also excited for that one, but
GameCube.
yeah. That was
There's
the
some
one I
bigger
things on the rise for me
didn't
this
give the
month, so.
biggest chance to, and I regret it.
That's fair.
I'm excited. Oh, I didn't know that was. Why is there so? Okay, so you know how Jeff Keighley is just like everything belongs to us. Like
Yep.
they took the PlayStation Showcase too. He just like sent us an email about it.
Dibs.
Not us directly. You know what I mean. He was just like mine. I licked it, so it's
Dibs.
mine. I've been saying that way too much lately, guys. Okay, but I'm looking through like we have an article about all the showcases.
Mhm.
Go to cgmagonline.com. And I'm looking like Wholesome Direct, and we've got the
Mhm.
Future of Play Direct. These are all happening during Playdate.
Yeah. Well, because it's kind of
These are
taking
all on June 10th.
well, it's kind of taking the place of what E3 was. So it's just kind of filling that void that we used to sit on a couch and say, well, let's watch everything that's the remote E3 is doing.
Well, I can tell you, like, I can't confirm if anything successful happened, but I can tell you every journalist I know that was planning to be in town for E3 is pretty much still going and just hoping that every company in the area is like, hey, we have games.
E3 happens.
And I mean, that, yeah, pretty much just in
Not every
restaurants
journalist, you know, because
instead.
I was going to be there for E3, and I'm not going to be there for Summer Game Fest.
That's fair. That's fair. I was choosing my words carefully, Chris. Anyway,
Not all journalists.
not all journalists. Hashtag not all journalists. No, but I know that they're still doing that. And if they are going for Summer Game Fest or whatever, I know
Right.
that they've extended their trip. I know Brendan and I, when we went to the Game Awards, we learned our lesson. We will make sure to go probably a day early and probably leave a day or two late
Yeah.
because we were getting, hey, you guys are flying in this day. Can you be here? No,
Yeah.
no, I cannot. Okay, but can you? No, like
No.
maybe had you asked me before I booked my flight,
Yeah.
You're going to
or
pay for
pay
my
for me to
flight
change
change,
it?
and
Like,
pay for a hotel room so I can come check a game out for half an hour? No.
yeah, like it's meet me at the airport, you know.
Yeah. Just meet in the lobby
Cash me
will be good.
outside.
Mhm.
Just stay there all month. Stay there all month until the concert on the 25th, because there's going to be stuff that
I
Jeff
know,
keeps adding to
right?
it.
Jeff does keep Jeff. We love you,
Jeff.
Jeff. You
Jeff,
gotta calm
hey.
Stop
down.
it.
You gotta sit,
He
Magic.
is
stay.
he is one of the busiest people in gaming though. Like
Yeah.
like that guy. I'm like,
And is still super down to earth and
Yeah.
personable,
Yeah.
and like
He's the Dorito
he
Pope.
just sat beside us at
Canadian.
this. Yeah, I
True.
think he has taken a kind eye to myself and Brendan. We've talked to him a couple times. He's like, you guys are near where I was once.
yeah,
But like he sat beside us at the Xbox showcase. We said nothing.
Yeah.
And there was everywhere else to sit.
Yeah.
But he just like sat
Mhm.
beside us. It was like, Jeff Keighley's right there.
I'd say,
that guy,
I'd
like,
say-
the amount of deals that guy gets, like I know that we're all sad to see E3 go, but that guy put a lot of work into making this thing happen. So kudos to him.
oh yeah.
It's again, I can't say a whole lot, but it sounds like it's gonna be a lot different from last
Mondo.
year and a lot different from E3.
Yeah.
Do we
I
think,
think
I'm breaking the rules, Chris? I'm sorry.
No.
Do we think E3 is coming back?
no, it's dead.
I think if Jeff Keighley pulls off Summer Games Fest this year, I think this is just what it is now.
I
I don't know why they're not combined, honestly. Like, I don't know why this isn't.
Because they didn't want to work. He wanted it to be
Yeah.
his thing, and they wanted it to be their thing, and neither of them wanted to discuss or make any concessions. So they were fighting against each other, and Jeff Keighley had the bigger names at the thing. So
Just
Yeah.
take the experience of E3 with Jeff's drive, right? Like combined into
I
one
mean,
event. We don't need
they did
two
used to
competing
work
events.
together, right?
Yeah.
Did they?
He did
Yeah,
E3
there were
Live, which is like their like
simultaneous
E3 showcase that would happen for like if you were at home and stuff like that.
Was he the Olivia Munn of E3? Sorry. That makes sense
Maybe.
if you...
Yes,
It makes sense, man.
if you want gossip girl.
but yeah, I think he did a good. He's doing a good job. I'm really excited to see how Summer Game Fest does evolve this year, because it's bringing a lot of stuff that that we didn't get to see last year. Like it is a much bigger event. There's the big tentpole releases. Last year was a lot of indie releases and smaller titles, and it was like, this is cool, I guess.
And I know there's going to be a combination of hands-on, hands-off for
Yeah.
for anything,
And-
not just
Yeah.
Summer Game Fest. I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen at Xbox.
Yeah.
This
Is it even a
this-
fan fest this time, or is
No,
it
I think it's just a showcase.
weird? Fan fest was intense last
It
year.
was a lot.
And
I
this,
mean,
I
yeah.
think, was it this is the first like real like Summer Games Fest, or like any big showing really that's kind of like in a post, like as much as you can consider a post-COVID world.
Well,
we
last
we
year-
live just we just live the future COVID life we now have.
Like, well, because
I mean,
that's what I
we
mean. Like last year Summer Games Fest was like it was what it was, but it was also like we were kind of still in the throes of a pandemic. Like
Yeah.
we got
Yeah.
only
Late
sort of
stage, yeah.
just recently.
We still
got
had
out
to
of
wear
it.
masks on the plane.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
it's
did.
Still, it's still very new, right? So like,
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, Dana, to kind of to your point too. I honestly feel like this, like with that having been said, like this was E3's sort of like last chance to get it right, and the fact that they had to like bail out again and cancel everything kind of means they're just done. Like,
I think the problem was it's okay. Summer Games Fest, yes, it's probably cost quite a bit for a booth. It's not the same thing as having a public facing booth. You can have
Mhm.
like a screen and a guy and a standee and you're done. If you're talking an E3 booth, you're talking like millions
Well,
to have a booth there. 'Cause
and
it's
that's-
a public
and no one
facing
sees the
thing.
value of it anymore.
Yeah.
I do like that it's not a public facing event.
Yeah.
Sorry, public. I was public very recently, so
Yeah.
whatever.
No, that was
I've changed. But I do like that it's not a public facing event, because it does it gives some merit to what we do.
Yeah.
And B, it's not review bombed. It's not spoiled for everybody. It's not whatever. But what I was gonna
Yeah.
say about obviously Chris and I never went to E3.
Yeah.
Crush our dreams. You can all suck it. But what I like about Summer Game Fest is kind of what you were saying, Brendan. It's down to earth.
It is.
I think it has potential to get as big as E3. I think that's coming. I think it will only snowball and get bigger and bigger. So I don't know what's going to happen when that happens. Like,
Yeah.
it is not, I don't know what I can and can't say. It is not in like a massive hall
Yeah.
with like, it's in some places and nobody's bringing in like monster trucks full of monster or like,
But I
Really
do
might.
think you're right. It is down to earth, because you do have, when you're sitting down with a demo, you're sitting down with the developer. You're not sitting down with just a random guy they hired that doesn't know the game. So when you're taking your time to see these demos or take these appointments, you're talking to people that made them and talking to people that are passionate about it. You're not just talking to a guy they hired off the street in LA saying, you're not working as an actor today. Do you want to randomly man our booth? It's a much different experience.
wow, just like really just
Mhm.
pulled the curtain away on E3 for us. No,
to,
like,
to
I
your,
can
to your
remember-
point, Dana, like actually, like I again, like you said, you and I haven't been to E3 before, and it's always been kind of a dream of mine to do that. But I kind of agree with you that I don't mind the idea of going like private again, and I don't even say that as because I'm a journalist now, right? Like I remember watching the game magazines publish stuff, and I was like, 20 years ago, when it was started to shift towards being partially public. There was a limited kind of almost like a lottery, I think they did to get into it from the public side. And that kind of kept that mystique. You had a few people kind of coming in and they could go out and kind of spread the word. But otherwise it was a press event. I think that's a good approach to go back to, honestly. Because I do feel we need something like this in the summertime for the industry. If it's not public, I feel like we need that kind of hands-on time, especially now. Again, I'm getting my first hands-on experiences with these things too. Like I've been to like an LA preview now. I've done that kind of thing, and it's hard to go back to the to the normal way, right?
I
Or
will
the
say,
COVID normal.
it gives me anxiety, and I had this when I did Guardians of the Galaxy. I did like a playtest. It was digitally, but there were still people watching
Yeah.
me play. It gives me crazy anxiety. Like, it's brutal when people are sitting with you watching you play their game.
Yeah.
It's not even just some PR guy. It's
Yeah, no.
the guy who made the game.
Mhm.
And I'm like looking in drawers for no reason because I have limited time. I definitely shouldn't be doing that. But I'm like snooping around. They're like, oh, you just need to go. I know where I need to go.
Trying to see your attention to detail.
Yeah.
But last year, I think my most memorable appointment, and I think it's like the only game I didn't write about, was Star Trek Resurgence,
Mhm.
which our review just went up. That's the other cool thing. Right now, all the games that we saw last year are
Yeah.
coming out and being reviewed. And I was like, oh, look, there it is. I did that.
Mhm.
But Star Trek Resurgence, I believe I sat down with the narrative lead.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And I was very new at this. I was like not planning to interview people. I'm sitting down playing a game. They're like, here's this guy. And we talked. And number one, that would have been a great interview. Just, I will be prepared next time. Just record everyone and then I'll find out who the hell they are later. But I think I've talked about this before, but he and I had like a really real talk. I'd lost my father many, many years ago, and he was a huge Star Trek fan. And this guy, he had like a relationship through his father with Star Trek. So we talked for a really long time about that. And like, I feel like that would have been a really cool thing to be able to share with people. But
Mhm.
even still, it was a really cool moment for me. And that made that the most memorable game I played.
Yeah.
Even though it is not my kind of game. I like the new Star Trek movies, and that's about it. But it's that brings a whole different side to things,
Mhm.
aside from the anxiety of me screwing it up in front of people.
It's fine. That's fine. They don't think.
I just
It's-
want to
it's good
hoard.
feedback for that. It's good feedback for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I like that
yeah,
side of
let's
things.
see. There's a lot kind of writing on this, and I think
Yeah.
the groundwork's there because E3 is a tradition, and I mean the Summer Game Fest is just kind of picking up that stuff and dusting.
I think
off
so,
and
yeah.
moving forward with it. So I'm not too
I'm worried
concerned
that
about the
it is
future of
going to
that.
end up in a massive haul one day.
I don't see. Here's the thing. I don't think so because
It might have to the way it's going.
yeah, but
We have to wait and see what it's going to look like.
because when it gets public and you kind of get that scale, you're not going to get the truly unique experiences, because it's one thing to show a press person and say, hey, we know this is kind of broken, but try it anyways. And you get to see, like, you get to kind of have that curtain revealed and say, oh,
Mhm.
half this game isn't really working, but that's kind of okay. It's fine. The public can't accept that, or they're still not ready to accept that sort of thing. So if you had you came like,
This game is broken.
Yeah.
This is trash.
you have
Yeah,
that
so
press
for the
can
most part,
take
they
the proof
they
of
don't
concept stuff.
understand it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, not saying the public are dumb. I'm saying
oh,
it's
I
a
am.
different experience.
Because we do get to look at things long before
Yeah.
they're ready. Like, maybe I'll see Elder Scrolls. I won't, but just let me have
But-
it.
Hypothetically, maybe yes.
I
go
don't
on.
know. I don't know how much it is that like we get to look at things before they're ready, and we know that because I think about the whole like GTA 6 leak and how
Mhm.
like all kinds of people were like, "Oh, what the fuck? This game's gonna be trash. Look how bad it looks. It's like PS2 graphics." It's like they haven't even started it yet. Like,
No
Yeah.
polish. Yeah.
Well-
relax.
And that's something I had to learn. Like, I'm not that, if stuff's broken, I'm usually pretty chill about it. I'm like, all right, like, that's annoying. If it breaks the game and I can't progress, like Cult of the Lamb, if anybody, I'm still mad about that. We can talk about that later. Like, that kind of stuff will make me mad, but stuff breaking through walls, I don't care. But the first
glitches are one thing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna happen. It's not ideal. You would like want
Mhm.
a certain amount of like play testing to be done at like before something goes to release. If it's like broken to the point that it's just like
Mhm.
how did this get released? That's different from like, okay, like, I was playing a game like something like Tears of the Kingdom, or even like Breath of the Wild. Like, I was playing Breath of the Wild recently and I ran into like a glitch. There's a guy literally was in the floor and like I could engage in dialogue with a person in the floor. And it's like, okay, like
Yeah.
I get it. This is a huge
definitely
game.
done that.
It's like things are gonna happen. Like, you're gonna get like there's gonna be some degree of like missed, little like, or just like random, encounters that happen that way, like the way the code just sort of lines up. But like when something is like in like not even like pre-alpha. Like it's just like it's
Yeah.
literally like they haven't even started it yet, and people see it and they're like, this game looks terrible. How is this, like, you know, Rockstar is going to lose all the money on this? It's like,
Mhm.
The
but do
end
you
of
not
my
understand how-
sentence back there was when I jumped into Swords of Legends Online.
Yeah.
I got to play that before it was live. It's an MMO. We often don't get to play the MMOs before they're live. And they're like, yeah, we know about this. And they'll give us a list of like,
Mhm.
these are the things we know about. And again, I've said this before on podcasts, but I just turned around and there was nothing. I was like, I don't understand how making video games works. And I don't. And then at
Didn't
some
load in
point,
the
there was a
area.
bird that was just a skeleton. And I was like, part of him is missing.
That's fine.
So like
It's
those were
intentional.
things that I had to learn when I started. And like, yeah, I knew it wasn't done. And
Yeah.
a lot of the time we get a, hey, we are aware of this. It'll be patched here, or we're aware
I think
of
you had
this,
similar
working
things with
on it.
Lost Ark, right? They had like a list of, hey, these things aren't quite working yet.
Yeah. But I just thought it was funny when I turned around and there was nothing. Like
It's void.
I didn't know that was real. Like I didn't know that could happen.
It's all
So
just
that
proof
was
that we can never go back. Always
Mhm.
Oh my
forward.
God. No, the Earth is
Um,
flat. I would have just fallen off. That's what it was.
Oh
Oh,
no!
God.
Oh no!
Gonna
No!
get murdered in the
We're gonna
comments.
we're gonna get the bots after us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anything
Yeah.
else that you guys were looking forward to or hoping to see besides Fable? Because I got one.
Dana show.
Uh,
Oh, go.
I got one. Dragon Age. Where's that at?
Yeah, that's on the list,
Mhm.
right? Like, Chris, you and I have very similar lists. We've got. Can we ever
Very similar
Mass
until
Effect?
they're
Is that a
very
thing?
different.
Yeah, that's
They are
true.
working on a new Mass Effect, but I think we'll see Dragon Age long before we see that. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's
Like those are
really
all
their
my. I
run.
don't know what's gonna happen now that I do this. Like you guys have all been doing this a little bit longer than me. Some many moons longer than me. Like I feel like I get rushed through games when I
Yeah.
review them,
Yeah.
but I also want to be the first one. And games like Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Elder Scrolls, Fable, I want to like them still.
Yeah.
And I want to play them at my pace. Like even Zelda right now, I think I'm like 3 minutes in. I have made no progress. I'm just like exploring. Like look over here. Oh,
See-
I'm dead. I'm dead.
That was
Let's
the
go
case
this
where
way.
I didn't even want to throw my hat into the ring to review that
Mhm.
one because I
Yeah.
wanted to review. I wanted to experience it with everybody else, and that's been fun.
It's not even
Um,
experiencing
yeah.
it with everybody else. It's just I don't want to have to power through it.
That
you know?
too,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, because it's actually it's interesting you say that too, because James Stephanie Sterling just released a video on Monday sort of about that very topic, like in relation to Tears of the Kingdom, about how like they gave the game a 7 because they felt it was a 7, and people were trying to use the argument that like, oh, you didn't finish the game, you didn't play the game long enough, as like a way of sort of tearing down their review, but also kind of like exposing the idea that like there's a certain sort of threshold you have to hit, but it's sort of like it undercuts the idea of like how people play games and how games are even like reviewed in that sense.
Okay,
So,
the
like-
argument, I've heard the argument so many times that you need to, it's at hour 70 the game gets good. If the game only gets good after a certain point for you, like that is how far you
Yeah.
need to play to enjoy it. I don't want to waste like 5 weeks of my life just to
And-
start enjoying something.
Yeah.
And
Not
the
saying
thing-
that is what Zelda is, but
No, and
Yeah.
and it's something
It's
I
not
feel
extra.
I like I used to have that anxiety that Dana had about like really powering through something to like
Yeah.
because like you have this fear that you're gonna get called out in the comments about some like arbitrary game length, and it's
Mhm.
like as a critic, if you play the game is reviewed when you feel you have played
Yeah.
enough to know you can make a judgment call. Like sometimes you start playing a game like when I did Afro Samurai 2, right?
oh yeah,
It
that's
took
a thing.
5 minutes for me to figure out that game was a steaming pile of shit because it was
You
just.
played more than that. You did play
I
more than
played more of
No,
it, yes,
Because
but
he
it
had
12
did
to
not
hours
and he
take
wasn't
the-
long.
happy.
No, but the
Yeah.
bill
It
gets so
did
much more
not take
stable
long.
after 12 hours.
Mhm.
The
Like,
first 12 hours is
yeah,
broken.
exactly.
But you know what?
The
Yeah.
last 12 hours is fixed.
That goes.
All the
that
glitches
goes
worked
for
themselves
us.
out.
Yeah.
I will be louder if I have to be.
Oh.
That goes for us even with tech though. Like you'll get say a phone or whatever, and you've got 2 weeks to review it.
Mhm.
How often do you have something that, like a month into it just craps out?
Yeah.
Or a controller, you're like,
Amazon.
yeah, no, this thing is great, and then you're like, drift. For me,
Yeah.
I've got a vacuum right now that I knew within 5 fucking seconds that I hated it. It is awful. I loathe it, but I was like, okay, maybe I'm just stupid and I don't know how to use this thing. And I kept going and
And-
kept going. I keep sending Brendan pictures. I'm like, this bitch is stuck again. Like, I'm just angry. Like, it can't. He's like, what is it
Well,
stuck
and-
on him? You tell me. I don't know. It
Yeah.
stuck on the air. And I've got to keep testing it, keep going, keep whatever, just
Right.
in case. And it's friggin' making me livid. Sorry,
And
Every
that's how I
Amazon
feel
a lot
about
of
that.
it too. A lot of it too is like it's also like problematic because like there are things that like we can't control, like you know, if you're playing a game that's like you know, say something like you know, like an Elder Scrolls or whatever, and it's like
Okay.
it's super buggy before launch, and they say, oh, there's going to be a day one patch. Well, it's like, well, now our experience, no matter how long we play it, is going to be markedly different from like the like what other people are gonna.
Look at what happened to Brendan with Diablo Immortal.
Yeah.
To the point where in his Diablo review, I was like, you need to mention that because there was no like pay to
100%.
win features. There was none of that when in the review
Yeah.
build. And then it came live and everybody was like, yo, what the fuck? Sorry, I have a mouth
Shills.
tonight. And he was like, that was not there. And
Yeah.
again, with
Yeah.
Diablo 4, yeah, that review's out, right?
It is. Out.
Like,
Yeah.
with Diablo 4, that stuff wasn't there, but he made sure to say, like, not there right
This is
now.
good
I don't
if,
know what's
yeah.
coming. So
And not
So they don't
only
think-
not only stuff. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brendan.
I was just gonna say we can talk about Diablo 4 later, but I do want to mention the fact that that's same way for a lot of games. The battle passes aren't out. Like a lot of the stuff that they say, oh, it's only going to do this, and then you see those stories on all the websites. They're like, oh, they went back on their word, and now it includes these 10 things that everyone's angry about. We don't know that stuff. Not that we're doing the pity the critic section of the podcast, but
No, but it's true to a certain degree. I was just about to say, because it's not only that stuff. It's also like there is stuff like we get in embargoes
Yeah.
that like when I was doing Cereza and the Lost Demon, like
Okay.
there were sections of the embargo that like specifically told me not to talk about certain like skill trees and like abilities that Cereza would get in like the later game. One of them being like
embargoes are rough.
one of her like most well-known abilities in like the actual Bayonetta games. And I was thinking about it like but like if why can't I talk about this? If this thing could have actually changed like how I felt about the combat or something, like there could have been things in here that actually would have affected my
that's
like,
what we're gonna have. We're
opinion
gonna have a
on
little
it.
sticker that goes in our reviews. I'm angry and I can't tell you why.
Well, yeah, it's like there's always
redacted.
there's often like, oh, don't mention this and that in spoilers and stuff. I wouldn't want to mention that it like for Earthling, for example. Like I wouldn't want to say, oh, she gets this X power from this game because that could be a big moment that you're inflating. But yeah, then it becomes a thing of like, how can I safely allude to the fact that hey, later on, keep playing. No, trust me, no, just trust me. Like
that's something Brendan and I have dealt with too with film reviews to get accredited for certain things. Or like, well, you need to describe more, you need to say more, you need to blah blah blah. Yeah, but we try really hard to do spoiler-free reviews. So I can't say when so and so does this and goes here and this happens, it blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I say it blah blah blah. Yeah.
And I think like
I'm a writer.
We've talked about this like in the past because of exactly stuff like that, where like as much as you don't want to be like a spoily McGee, it's kind of like, okay, but if that thing that is like this this big like spoiler actually really does influence like how you feel about something, like you should, I feel at least personally, you should have some degree to talk about it and say like, okay, if this is going to be a spoiler, if this is going to ruin your experience, don't read it. But like, this is something that I feel you need to know because it like drastically changed how I felt about
the answer is, Jordan, you could definitely cover that stuff. You just can't cover it for the embargo. Like there was like for Diablo, for example, there was a spoiler embargo and a not spoiler embargo. So I could talk about whatever the hell I wanted if I waited a day.
Yeah.
A couple days. Yeah.
Anyway,
Dragon Age.
I was gonna say that's a weird tangent to get on from. Like, hey, what games are you excited about? This game's gonna be hard to cover really fast.
Yeah.
I too would like to see Dragon Age.
Yeah, I can see that.
The moral is take your time, Dana.
Thanks. I'd like to
Or
see
don't take the
something
review.
new for my kids too. Like we just had Minecraft Legends come out. It was hard. Like there was a lot of things missing from it that that made it way more complicated or like just not functioning
Right.
like it
Yeah.
should. And I mean, my son plays Fortnite left and right. He plays Minecraft. I think he just started playing Plants vs Zombies.
That's a game
But,
that
like,
exists.
I'd like to see something come out for that age
Well-
group, maybe a little bit older,
Mm.
that I can get into that doesn't make me want to like dig my eyes out with a spoon.
I was gonna say like the Plucky Squire right there, like
Yeah.
Sony did show a bit of that off, and that does look whimsical as hell, but also like really like kind of cool.
You do
and
love whimsy.
technical in way. I love whimsy.
This is
You
middle
know what
name.
I'm
This is
excited to
true.
see? I'm hoping that we see it. Jordan, I think you and I talked about this a long time ago. Fae Farm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Fae
that's
Farm.
the-
Yeah, I did I previewed that game. Or I got
Yeah.
to watch a preview of it anyway. Yeah, it looks
yeah.
neat.
What was the other one?
They did Dauntless.
Okay.
No, but there's another cozy kind of game that I'd love to see too. I think it's the witch something.
cozies.
There's like a witch themed one.
Oh, not the Little Witch Woods or something.
no,
Little Witch in the
Minico's
Wood. That's
Night
already out.
Market. I think there's a game by the people who made Summer and Mara that's
Witchwood,
like
okay.
it's like you're a little. It's like Kiki's Delivery Service. The game. I don't know if it
Okay.
came out yet or not.
Is it Witchwood? Is that or is that? No, that game's already out. Never mind. Witchbrook.
It is definitely.
Witchbrook. That's the one.
I've never heard of this one.
I'm looking this up
I
now.
love me a cozy
You know
game.
what? That might be because I actually I DM myself in Slack every now and again when I see a cool game, so I like remember their names.
It's from
Ah.
Chucklefish.
Oh, it looks cute.
No,
Yeah.
Little
Well, I
Witch
think
in the
it's cute.
Woods.
I don't wanna
Yeah.
look it up. Little Witch in the Woods is already on Game Pass.
It is.
Oh,
It's also
is
made in
it?
St. Catharines.
Oh,
Little Witch in the
oh,
Woods.
yeah, I
is?
was.
Is it? No, Witchwood is made in St. Catharines. Little Witchwood.
Yeah, wrong game.
Yeah.
Catch up.
I was keeping an eye on this because yeah, this looked cute as hell.
And then there was
I was- I
Send
was-
it to me.
Haunt the Chocolatier,
Oh, it,
but that might
it
not
does look
show.
adorable.
I don't.
there are
Haunted
didn't,
Chocolatier, I think,
uh,
will be fun, but it'll be Stardew Valley.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
straight up
Is there-
Stardew Valley.
100%.
Because
Yeah.
they dropped working on that for a little bit to do the Stardew Valley update or something, right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
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 It's also one dude, so you know.
Now
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know. I don't know if we're gonna see anything from it over the summer because I know we just did a preview of it, just went up. But
Okay.
I'm looking forward to Immortals of Avian.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wake up, my friend.
Sorry.
I
late
don't
night.
really like. I need to actually play it. I can't just keep watching
Yeah.
the videos. I need to see how it plays. But I feel like that could be right up my alley. That could fall into my little like Dragon Age hole.
It looks really cool. I mean, I talked to some people involved in like the art and stuff of that game, and it seems like they so they at one point they were talking about how they want to not have this, not have dragons, not have like knights, and they want to go a completely different direction. And I'm like, are the dragons? They're like, oh yeah, they're totally dragons. Like,
Definitely.
But
Will-
they're not
And
dragons.
magic,
They're
and
drakes. They're wyverns.
well, they're called something different, but like, yeah, there's totally dragons. We put dragons there. I'm like,
Mhm.
If they're
But it's-
bipedal, they're wyverns. If they're quadrupedal, they're dragons.
it doesn't matter.
Like,
It does
we
not matter.
wanted to do something different, but we didn't.
No, I think they did. Like from judging what Philip has said in his preview and all the stuff I've seen of the game, it is doing a really interesting thing with that concept. It is kind of like a little bit futuresque, how the medieval world works and looks. It looks more similar to like. Did anyone watch the Arcane series from League of Legends?
I heard you talk about it.
There you go.
Check
Yeah,
out.
It
Yeah.
has that kind of a kind of a fantasy world, but it also does feel futuristic in a way. And it from what I'm seeing of the game, it does have that kind of look, very angular, very modern, but still kind of having that fantasy vibe to it.
Sci-fi.
So
fantasy.
it could be really cool.
I like
Yeah, no, I'm looking at a little bit of it now. It does look super cool.
And I do like seeing EA doing EA original stuff again, because that's some of EA's best stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know like how little I know about EA? Like every time you say EA, all I think about is The Sims. And the only reason I think about The Sims is because they made me make an EA account eventually.
Right.
Like I just had
Yeah.
like the little disc that you put in my Xbox or whatever, and then all of a sudden it was like you can't play this without EA.
Right.
And I went, boo! And then I gave my account to my niece.
What
Miss
was
The
that
Sims.
old
Yeah.
tag they had for the studio thing when you booted up a game? I think it was like EA Sports. It's in the game.
Yeah. that's
Yep,
in the
I remember that.
EA
I still hear that.
Sports.
That made me really happy.
It's no Sega, but it works.
EA
Yeah.
games. It's in the.
But I
script.
think EA has a lot of stuff in the pipe. And Immortals looks really cool, and hopefully we see more Dragon Age 2.
Yeah.
Dragon
I'll let
Age,
it be more
It's
74.
Dragon Age 4.
whatever they call it.
Brendan. Nobody else?
I want
What
to see
do we
more
got? 'Cause
Dragon's
we've got-
Dogma too.
Oh yeah, that's I forgot.
Yeah.
That's a
I'm
thing
so
that
excited
exists.
for that.
I don't
Oh
know that
man.
one. Should I know that one?
It's
Do I
cool.
care?
I mean,
Yeah,
I played
no,
the
it's
first game,
weird.
but I
Dragon-
have a friend who swears by it. So
It's a cult. It's like a sleeper hit. Like
Is it
I
the
think
friend
it's-
that's like me though?
It's kind of like if you mixed like a standard JRPG with Dark Souls and then added multiplayer that lets you do weird
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah, and the combat is like a little more like
Forgiving. It's a bit more forgiving.
yeah, forgiving. I was gonna say it's a little more like hack and slashy. You can get really technical with it. You can also
And
do
it
really
made a
like
real dumb anime.
yeah. Oh yeah, I heard it was bad.
Like that anime was real dumb.
I heard it was really bad, and I was so sad because I really wanted to like I wanted to watch it because I got so excited for more Dragon's Dogma, and everyone's like, no, it's bad.
It's real dumb. Like it makes no sense. You're like, what? The
At
dragon's
first-
just like teaching him like moral lessons, but because he did all those moral lessons, he turns into what? Okay.
Okay.
that
Oh,
that game
that's
was one I
funny.
conflated with Dragon Crown or something because that was
Yeah,
coming out
that's
at the
a-
same
that's
time.
another
They
thing.
got conflated in my head, and they're totally different games.
Too many dragons.
Too many
Sorry, I don't
dragons.
know
please
Dragon's
eliminate
Crown is
it.
all kinds of weird.
No idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm over here. You guys are talking about dragons, and I got distracted. We were talking about how like they showcases would invite like a couple select
Yeah.
like regular folk as like a special treat. Xbox apparently sent out like random kits to people.
Okay.
It's like to their gamer tag. It says you've been randomly selected to receive this watch party kit and are invited to join FanFest Virtual on June 11th. Join us with friends around the world to watch the double feature of Xbox Games Showcase followed by Starfield Direct. Sign up, blah blah blah.
Okay.
But that's not all. As a recipient of this kit, we've chosen you to kickstart a challenge for the entire Xbox community. Included in this kit is a coaster with a QR code and a 1 of 4 access code. Share your code with others in social media using hashtag XboxFanFest. I can't read. To
Okay.
discover the passphrase to unlock an exclusive FanFest activity. We hope you enjoy this gift. Spread the joy of FanFest by showing off your haul and using hashtag gift from Xbox, hashtag Xbox FanFest. Thank you for
That's
being
really
part of the FanFest community.
Cool.
And it's like,
ARG.
so there's socks, which always makes me happy.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a cool mug. There's actually a really cool glass. I might buy that glass if I can. A FanFest coaster and some popcorn. That just got like they were like, hey, this was just randomly sent to me. So Xbox has our addresses.
There you go.
Got us,
I mean, yes,
yeah.
they do. They would have to.
But I just never thought they'd send prezzies. I didn't get a prezzie. Rude, Xbox. No, Xbox is very nice to me. I have a really pretty controller and some pretty nail polish.
I have a pretty Xbox controller, but it didn't come from them. So I'm fine, I guess. It's fine.
I've got one from Space Jam, if that counts.
Oh yeah.
I have
I actually like that controller.
I do too.
I have the one from Dark Alliance, the game that existed despite no one remembering it ever happened.
Oh,
Yeah, that I mean, is it a sticker or is it like a special custom controller?
Oh, it's a special custom controller, like it's on there.
That's so
It's-
weird. Okay.
Yeah, it's got the Demon King thing on there, but
do you remember Halsey at the Game Awards?
Yep.
I got very excited. Well, wow, I can't read today. Diablo 4 Anthem video teaser, Lilith date reveal. I'm very excited for this.
Anthem.
It's a music video for it's Halsey, but it's for Diablo.
She did a full version of the song.
I guess. I don't know.
So weird.
This website does not actually take me to this news. Oh, here it's tweet. I'll let you know how it goes.
That's so
It's
weird.
18 seconds. But I'm pretty pumped. I like Halsey. Oh. It's a creepy video, guys, and it's only 18 seconds long. I guess it's fitting. Demons and whatnot.
Yeah.
All right.
mean,
Is she
World premiere 6/5/23.
okay?
Monday, guys.
That's so
there
weird.
you go. You
I'll
heard
be
it here
very pumped
first.
about it.
But yeah, that was a weird. That was a weird section of the Game Awards where Halsey just sang a song from Diablo or for Diablo with
That's-
demons around her and
I
stuff.
missed
Oh
most of
right,
it.
yeah.
So I was doing my job like a good employee.
And they had, like,
Brendan's
weird
texting me, Halsey is on stage. I'm like, I'm tweeting
I remember you being
about
like, "What
it."
the hell is happening right now?"
It was very
You guys
strange.
can all stay tuned to me live tweeting the whole week. It's going to be a hot mess, and I'm sorry. Just I'll accidentally tweet to CGM instead of to mine. It'll just me be going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Very professional, I know.
Sure.
Spiraling live in progress.
I can tell you about the time that Brendan, I was bickering with Brendan in the middle of Summer Game Fest, and a random streamer found us. The way that the streamers were at Summer Game Fest, they were on, what are they called, Brendan?
Robots? I don't
They were
know.
robots.
Like basically Segway robots. I don't
They were
understand.
segways with like iPads or whatever on them, and streamers were on them, and they could like drive around. And I was a little cranky, and
I'm pretty sure I made one of those in Tears of the Kingdom.
It was. Anyway, so I was being snippy, as we all know I am, and we turned around, and there's this robot behind us, and the girl just went, "Whoa!" I was like, "Well, I'm getting fired today." She just wheeled away.
The future is dumb. The future is
When
real
I'm
dumb.
like 80, that will be my favorite memory from this industry. Remember that time a robot caught me fighting with my boss and went,
Sure, Grandma.
"Whoa."
Let's get you to bed.
Robots doing things.
Oh my god.
We all know there are overlords
I
now.
wonder if that guy with the clock will be there. Not Flava Flav.
He doesn't have a
Yeah,
clock. He has a belt.
Oh, it's a belt?
It's
Okay.
like a championship
Just
belt.
thinking of
That's
Flava
Hip Hop Gamer.
Hip Hop Gamer. He's very loud.
He
Very
is.
exciting though.
Mhm.
Very loud.
He is.
You know when he walks into the room.
He is not a subtle man.
Anyway, do we have any
Nice
other
though.
questions for this podcast? Sorry, guys.
I think we kind of got
Yeah, we
through
touched
most
on
of them. It's kind of spiraled through some of them, but
Yeah, we didn't go question by
Um,
question so much. Oh yeah, what'll be the biggest letdown? I'm very positive, you see.
that's very
Oh, I feel
hard
that.
to predict.
I feel that if Microsoft doesn't pull it off, it could be a big letdown because everyone's right now is kind of putting a lot on them that might be unfair amount on them.
They've been with how Redfall went
Mhm.
and then how the PlayStation Showcase went.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it feels like to be that
Yeah.
team right now. I can't.
Agreed.
So be kind to Xbox guys. It's been a rough little bit.
I mean, I will say one more thing on that note.
Oh, okay.
Yes, be kind to them because they are people and they are doing their best they can. But also, the random, we're just the little guys trying to get against that evil Sony master corporation. That's silly too. Like there's limits. Like you're the biggest company on earth. Simmer.
Simmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop trying to kill
you're not
digital
hard
I
media.
feel
and take
too
real
bad for
down.
the multi-billion-dollar
So-
corporation.
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge Assassin's Creed fan, but obviously, like we've seen Mirage announced.
Mhm. I think Mirage looks really cool.
Again, not the there's a hair. Oh god, not the hugest fan.
Mhm.
But when Mirage got announced, my friend showed me this video that just announces there's like 6 or 7 Assassin's Creed games coming out soon, like
I
not
mean-
6
Yeah,
years
it's-
from now.
Various
So I'm worried.
levels, yeah.
I'm worried that that's going to be like it's just going to be oversaturated. I'm worried they're going to be like, and this one, and this one. If I like the
Well,
last one, be like, we don't care anymore.
oversaturated. They've never.
I mean, to be fair,
no.
I'm going to throw it out there. Ubisoft has been really good with not dumping Assassin's Creed out every single year, and they've taken the time to let each one of the games breathe. But they've also lost a lot of money recently, so maybe they're giving up that strategy.
yeah.
Yeah, now they're going to reverse it and do
History repeats
all the
itself.
damage at once again. Yeah, no, because that I used to like Assassin's Creed a lot. Like I loved the
I
two
played
games.
every
I
single
adored that
one.
trilogy.
I think I played every one up to including Unity. I don't think I played much of Syndicate. I played Valhalla.
All of my partners have played like in the last I don't know 15 years. Everyone I've dated, Assassin's Creed.
I don't.
What
I
if-
did.
There's 20.
I think they're
20 years.
too big to be released every year. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't have
Yeah,
another
no.
130 hours right now to put into this. So I'm just not going to play it.
That was
I
the
still
thing, right?
think-
Like Assassin's Creed 2's, like that trilogy with Ezio.
I
was
love
great.
that
It was a
entire
yearly
trilogy.
thing. Then they jumped into Assassin's Creed 3, which was a big departure. Whole new
That
part
one
of
I
the
didn't play
world,
much
whole new
of. I never
character.
finished that
It's
one.
boring.
See, well, the thing was
Like
that
that?
needed a year to breathe. They
Yeah.
needed an extra year to let that cook, to let the space between Ezio and Connor kind of breathe.
Mhm.
And they
Mhm.
didn't. They rushed it out, and it suffered
Crazy
for it,
Connor.
and that killed me on the whole
100%.
franchise.
And
I
think-
still
and
say
to-
Unity was neat. I think Unity was broken as hell, but
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Unity had a really good place and time. You're like, French Revolution. This is a great time to randomly kill more people. I love it. But then it was like faces aren't loading, so everyone looks like a giant nightmare. That's weird.
People
Why
had
not?
Faces. I thought they
And it
just
was
all had
also too
booties.
expensive to make a single female in that game, if we remember.
That's
That was a
whole other-
bad.
That's a whole other
Yeah, that
model
was a
frame. Come on.
Bad look.
Like, we can make
Ubisoft.
the biggest.
There's a lot of girls shaped like men. Okay, settle down.
We can make the biggest Paris ever, but we can't put the time into making a different character. That's too much work.
Yes.
We can
Too
build a
much-
city, but
too
what
much
a woman.
resource.
What?
I still
Oh,
think
man.
What
to
a
this
woman,
day,
B.
one of the best videos we put out on our YouTube channel was Cody and I playing Syndicate. And we spent like 10 minutes admiring a single office because the attention to detail was great, but the game was so boring we didn't want to play it.
So
See,
dumb.
that's Redfall. I mean, I liked Redfall.
Yeah.
Everyone else hated Redfall. But like I spent a lot of my time reading like post-its on the wall. Like people were fighting. People were mad in there.
I
It was
think.
good for me.
I think
That's,
also
that's
the,
leading credence to your idea from earlier, though, that they wanted it to be canceled and it just were like, oh crap, we had to do something. And they're spending a lot of time putting post-it notes in the game.
I think people's expectations of games have also changed, and I think that's leading to why a lot of the modern games are letting people down. People expect basically every game to revolutionize the series, but also be exactly the same as you remember.
Here's my
Yeah.
hot
Mhm.
take on that. Hot take on that is that before the internet, it was fine.
Yeah.
Before the internet, any AAA game that came out, I don't know, were they AAA back then?
Yeah, this is
However you
AAA.
want to call it, whatever big game came out, you had your opinions, you had your friends' opinions, and that's it.
Yeah.
But
A handful
now,
of game magazines, if you read them, yeah.
yeah, game magazines. For me, I used to buy like the big guides with everything. I've got a picture of me, my birthday one year. I've got a Fable shirt, a Fable guide, a Fable controller, and I don't know, Fable 2 or 3, whatever. Like that, I miss that. And
Yeah.
now we have people like us. We have the people that play games that have bigger mouths than they should. We have people that don't understand games, and we
Yeah.
have
Comment
the
sections.
ability, comment sections, and the ability to, hey guys, I saw this one broken thing. Now everyone is going to see this one broken thing. Like imagine
And
a
they gotta keep the whole
speech
game.
you gave in like grade 4
Mhm.
being tossed on the internet, and the number of things people would find wrong with it.
Yeah, of
you know?
course.
So the internet has both made and ruined us.
I mean,
and
I like you played. I watched you play Redfall, and I saw. Oh, it looks fine. There's some things weird happen, like things didn't load in properly, but it was not major. It was minor stuff, and I've seen worse in other games. No problem.
I had some trees through a wall.
Yeah.
That's the only glitch. I
Yeah,
remember.
but like as the internet talked about it, it was basically the worst thing ever, and basically it is the cause.
And that's because everyone took the PC players
Yeah.
and ran with it. The other site that I write for, actually we talked about Redfall today because something went out today about it, and I was like, "Am I the only one that liked it?"
Mhm.
And sure enough, they were all PC players,
Mm,
and
See, the
that
same thing happened with Jedi
that
Survivor
got
too.
louder.
yeah,
That got louder, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, like that sucks. Why are you putting out a PC game if it's just going to be friggin' trash?
because Microsoft mandates it has to be on both things at the same time.
but Star Wars was on both too, wasn't it? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It was
on
on
all
all
three.
three. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's not just anyway. But I digress. That's very much the thing. One bad thing is just going to snowball and snowball
Yep.
and snowball. Like I play Xbox, my friends play it. Well, not anymore.
Yep.
But my friends all played Xbox, so that's where we'd run. I said, "Look at this game; it's really cool." I remember instead of playing online with my friends, me and like 6 of my girlfriends would all sleep over, and we'd have like sleeping bags
Yeah.
on the floor, playing games until the middle of the night. We all played one game. You know, we don't have that anymore, and we have too many options.
yeah, I agree with that.
Like Forspoken had the same thing. Jedi Survivor had the same thing. Both had bad PC versions.
And I mentioned this in my review of the most recent graphics card from AMD. The problem is the targeting systems, like the Xbox and the PS5, have a lot of RAM. That's what they're really good at. And a lot of people are trying to play these games on systems that like 6 to 8 gigs of RAM in their video card. That's just not going to be able to do the things that 16 or 10 are going to do. I know this sounds super technical, but when you have everyone developing for systems that have more specs, and then trying to say, oh, but that video card you had from 6 years ago, it kind of will play it too. You're gonna have a real bad time.
Yeah. It's not going to handle everything properly, and there's so much variance when you're building PCs. Like,
Yeah.
that's the one benefit. Like, if you ask me, the best way to go is like a console like the PS5 or even
Yeah,
Series
right
X, because
now-
you're getting one locked thing, right? Like,
Yeah, I think right now I like playing on the PC. I like the concept of being able to like modify that PC anywhere I like. But I'm in a spoiled industry where they're like, "Hey, look at this $1,000 video card," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Cool, I will do that." But if I was just a regular, if I was just trying to buy a thing to play games on, I don't think I'd suggest the PC. It just there's too many variables, and if you don't know what you're doing, you could spend $2,000-3,000 and end up with a thing that can't do the one thing you wanted to do. You buy
Yeah.
a $700 console, it'll probably do everything you want it to do properly. It'll play those games as it can play them. Maybe not the
Yeah.
Series S. We can talk about that
yeah, well, but
till the cows come home.
But the
But-
PC used to be the place.
Yeah,
Like if you,
exactly.
if you aren't
I
playing
was
on
just about to
PC,
say
you
that,
sucked.
Dana. Like,
Yeah,
that
and
was,
now
that's-
it's changed so
it-
much.
it's like it's crazy ironic because it used to be that whole like, oh, the PC gaming master race. Like,
Yeah.
if you didn't have a PC, you were like this, like, you know, noob
Slob.
idiot. Like, yeah, like
Now I won't
you
lie,
know-
I'm spoiled as heck, and like because of my job, I have a Brendan, and he built me
Yeah.
a lovely computer,
Yeah.
and that was what I used to do. But now I sit at a desk so much, I'm like, I don't want to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here.
Yeah.
I want to go play on my Xbox. Like, whoops.
like to a certain degree, I think like because wasn't that the thing that who made Jedi Survivor again?
Respawn.
Respawn.
Batman.
Wasn't that the thing they put out where they were saying like, oh, there's so many variables you can't account for like bad PC ports?
Yes.
And everything. But it's like that's true to a degree, but like
Okay,
to
I mean,
if
the
you're gonna
answer is-
port the game, like it should be.
I mean,
functional
the
on
answer is,
most
okay.
things.
You can
Yeah, like-
theoretically make any game run on a PC. It's the fact of how, if you want it to look as good as the console, you need to give it the same specs as the console has. And often people are saying, well, I have this PC from like 6 years ago and with a 2060 in it. Why is it not doing better than my PS5? Because the PS5 is more modern. That's the end of it.
Yeah, but there were like people with like high spec PCs that like Jedi Survivor wasn't running on just because
It's
it was
not-
a bad port. Like,
I mean, there was problems with the port, but there were people that
Yeah.
played it perfectly fine using like a 4080 or a 4090 and like the top end CPU. Because yes, you could make it work, but because it's not a closed ecosystem, so many
Mhm.
variables can make it break. That is not
Mhm.
giving the studio or anyone blank check to just make bad ports. I'm just saying,
yeah,
no
that's
matter
I was
what
gonna
you're
say, too.
doing.
Yeah, because the version I played of Jedi Survivor a month before launch,
Yeah.
in a room full of donated PCs from AMD,
Yeah.
worked just fine, and it worked
yeah,
just
exactly.
fine on my PS5. But if I was to run it on my own personal PC, which is not a slouch, it would not run as well as it would on my PS5. I
Yeah,
can pretty much
exactly.
guarantee it.
Yeah.
So again,
And-
Forspoken as well also had kind of a busted PC port. Like,
Yeah.
there's enough evidence out there to know that the port is not as good as the PS5 version,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
ironic
and it's-
considering they develop games on PCs. But
But the thing, as I say again, it's not the fact that it's busted on PC; it's busted on the average PC because the average PC
Yeah,
is
the
not
average.
the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are very good machines for the money. You can't get a video card
Mhm.
for the price you can for those systems.
Mhm.
So if
Yeah.
you were saying like dollar for dollar, consoles are a much better deal because you're in that closed ecosystem.
Oh,
they
yeah,
make
no,
the money back
absolutely.
via like selling games and stuff and selling services, etc. If you were to build we've done this like in the office, we figured out, oh, what if you wanted to build like a your own homegrown Series X when you couldn't find them in stores?
We
It would,
did in this little case, and it
Yeah.
was so cute. Sorry,
but
I'm fine now.
that system would cost about double what a Series X would
Sometimes
cost
girl.
for the same power. That's not really economical for the average person.
No.
But it was super adorable.
It was
Yeah.
in
adorable.
the other room. I love it.
No, but you
Yes.
know, it's like, I mean, like to that point, like that, you know, it's like when you go on Steam, most games have like a minimum and a recommended, like spec thing. So like you know, I do most of my gaming on my little Surface Book 3, and like even like Darkest Dungeon recently, like my PC like just barely made the minimum requirement. So
Right.
it ran. There were a few times where it got choppy, but I wasn't sitting there like blaming the game. I knew it was my PC doing it right. Like in certain areas where it wasn't as like processor heavy, it like, you know, it was running just fine, right?
What kills
So-
me is I used to play WoW on something like that, but older.
Yeah.
To the
Yeah.
point where when ESO came out, somebody built me a new computer so that I
But
could run it. But I was like, how did I do this on?
WoW, I think, was very lean at the time too. Like you didn't
It
need
was,
a
but now
powerful
I've
PC to
also.
run it.
But you can. That's the thing.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of the games I play, you don't need a powerful PC, but you can see the difference.
Yeah,
I
that's what
didn't
mean.
know playing Fortnite from the Series X to the PC is worlds
Yeah.
different.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's real
like-
as on PS5. I love it on there. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's no. For me, it's beautiful on Xbox, but my PC, which is
Well, the PC version is the one I
It's-
think Epic like prioritizes the most
it's
in terms
beautiful.
of like
well,
like
esports
assets
and yada yada, but it's
yeah.
gorgeous. Like I was like, hey, I don't have that many clouds. Why do you have that many clouds?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just cool, and it's cool to see the things that are different between them. And it's unfortunate that a lot of these bigger games
Mhm.
are letting that slide. Like I get not everybody has a 4090,
Most
but
people don't.
you know
actually.
what? A lot
Yeah.
of them still have 2080s, and
Yeah.
2080s can still do some nice
Yeah.
things.
I think, but it is the fact they're. It's the fact that I think it's twofold. I think it's the fact that they're not getting the money to port the games as they should. So they're like,
Mhm.
oh, what is kind of the same equivalent to what a PS5 is? Oh, a 4080? Sure. Okay, that's the thing. It's the RAM is the problem. Like even a 2080, good video card, it only has about 8 gigs of RAM, so you're not going to do the same thing that the 16 gig of RAM PS5 can do because it just physically doesn't have the ability to do it. So, yeah.
This is a great podcast about gaming showcases.
Yep.
There's
Yeah,
too
well,
many of them. There's
That's the
true.
problem.
so
We
many.
just got lost in the
Are
in
there
the
any that
full-
you guys are like? Sorry, I'm making podcasts longer. Are there any that you guys are like, these are the ones I have to watch? Or like, and
Yeah.
okay, yeah, you're gonna watch Summer Game Fest. You might watch Xbox.
Yep.
You've watched PlayStation. I'm sure Nintendo will pop out something new just to torture us.
They
But
need
what
to
about all
because
the
they need to
other
hype up
ones?
Pikmin.
Mm.
Right? Oh, love Pikmin.
I'll be personally prioritizing like the big showcase on Thursday,
Mhm.
and Square has their Final Fantasy 16 launch party on the Saturday.
Yep.
Beyond that, those are the
So
kind
what
of the
is
big
that for
things.
streaming? Like, I don't know what's announced about that.
I don't know too much about it too, except I mean I assume Naoki Yoshida is going to be talking about stuff and they'll be talking about the game. There should be a demo dropping. I expect that to be announced either on the showcase on the 8th or at the party,
Okay.
because they said it'd be about 2 weeks before the game comes out, and we're better than the biggest stage in the industry to announce
Fair,
that.
fair.
Okay.
But yeah, beyond that, it'd be a lot of hype. They've been really good about saying like, here's how the game works at various opportunities. So I think it'd be a bit more of that, just with a launch hype perspective
Like
as well.
There's ones I haven't even heard of, and maybe that's just my ignorance, but the OTK Games Expo? What is that? I don't know. I'm just looking for an article. I have no idea. I do know, obviously, like Ubisoft Forward, that'll be a big one. I'm not a huge Ubisoft person. I don't know what I am. I think I'm Bethesda.
That's
I
fair.
think I'm a huge Bethesda person. Anyway, but Wholesome Direct, I usually like. They've
Yeah,
got
they do.
some
They have
cute
some fun stuff.
That's
Yeah.
very, very feminine of me, but they usually have some really cute things. What is
Actually,
Upload VR? That looks interesting.
Oh, that's like VR press.
Did
show.
you just tell me that Upload VR is VR? Thanks, Brendan.
Get out of town.
Thanks for
Actually,
coming out.
the day of the devs came interesting too. Actually,
Yeah, they do some good stuff.
and
Yeah,
I'm curious
that was
about Devolver's showcase too. Actually, what I think of it.
Hopefully it's
I
as
think I
off the
saw
rails
that.
as usual. I think last year's it was a
Oh, I
little
do
more
remember
tame.
that.
They had
you wanna
something
talk
coming up
about
that they
the-
showed last year. I think that I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Let's see more of that. I haven't heard more about it since, and I forget which game it even was at this point. Plus, Hades
know
2
there's
is coming. So.
Indie Live Expo too.
Yeah, there's a lot, but I'm sure we can.
Gamescom, maybe.
Yeah.
I want to go to that one. Meh. There's a Destiny showcase. What is happening?
Too many
I'm so
showcases.
good at my
Everybody's
job.
got
All the
something,
showcases.
except for Nintendo officially. But yeah, it's just
Didn't
like there's
Nintendo just do one though, like a couple weeks back.
No,
Maybe not.
they've been in Zelda mode, so they haven't really
fair.
been talking anything else. And
Oh, so
Pikmin
the
comes
last
out
one would
in
have
a month
been
and a
that
half.
Zelda one, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Yeah, so
this
we'll
is the
probably get
weird
a
thing because
Pikmin
like
Direct.
the rest of the year is Pikmin's coming in July. There's Armored
Yeah.
Core in August. Spider-Man is probably going to be in the fall around September because that's when the first one came out. That's my guess.
Mhm.
And Starfield, and that's all we know for the rest of the year, basically.
Okay.
As far as like the
Well-
big temples, so there's got to be something, right? Like,
Yeah, wow, words. I'm killing it today. We have Assassin's Creed in the fall. I believe that is set for fall. I think
Mirage as well. Yeah,
Yeah, we also, I think Skull and Bones is still coming in the fall. I don't know if that game ever is going to come out, but who knows? It might. I think there's something else from EA. Is like EA has some things planned. There's a lot coming. So I
There's
feel that
dates,
we
yeah.
can. Yeah, we just don't know when everything is. I'm maybe another Call of Duty. Probably. Who knows?
Oh yeah, that's in sports games and all that stuff. You can usually count on the sports games coming out at certain times and all that.
Yeah, I really, really am not in that department.
Yep.
And I mean, there's still a lot of things we haven't heard from. I can't say a lot, but
Yeah, I think
the others
after
who can guess.
after Summer Games Fest, we can talk about a lot more of what we saw.
Yeah, this is definitely a before. Then there will be an after with actual
Yeah.
thoughts and opinions. Look, this drink is gross. I'm sorry.
You're still drinking it 2 hours
Stop
later.
drinking
It's
it.
like-
Yeah, what's wrong with
Yeah.
you?
The whipped cream is chunks.
I don't
But
like
I
that.
paid for it. I will drink it.
I'm
Actually, yeah,
thirsty.
Nintendo's been
Congealed
doing
while
like
you
some
were
shadow
drinking it.
drops as we've been talking
Yeah.
for the night. They announced a new
Oh, really?
One Two Switch game and the new
Thank
Joy-Con
God.
colors they're coming out
I
with this
did see
summer.
the
so-
Joy-Con
I mean,
colors.
yay.
No, the Joy-Con
Yeah,
colors are really
thank
pretty,
God.
so fight
Okay.
me.
Are they as
They're
good as
nice,
your
but can I get a
OPI
pair?
controller?
Hmm?
Are they as good as your OPI controller?
They kind of go with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're pretty and they're different. Chris put them in Slack. Be better.
I wish they put
They're
out the
oh,
pastel colors
good.
that they did on the Animal Crossing Switch. That'd be nice.
But I like that they're not like the usual pastel. It's not like baby blue and baby pink. I
There
like
was a
these.
time when you could
I
get the
even
Animal
like-
Crossing one separately
I know. I put that there. That's
through
my
the
name.
through the Nintendo Online store, though. Yeah.
And just like a quick shout out to Chris because his Spider-Man 2 interview has over 40,000 views right now on
Jesus
Twitter.
Christ.
On Twitter, I don't know about on our website,
Well,
but
Well, yeah.
our social post reached 40,000
Nice.
people, and our socials reach a lot less people than our website. So good for you.
Oh, there we go.
Neat.
That was a fun talk. Yeah,
Fun,
go check that
Fun,
out.
fun, fun,
Very,
fun.
very excited to actually get my hands on that game later this year
Mhm.
because that is one of my favorite like games of all time. The original game, probably so, or on the list somewhere.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be it for our time though for today.
Here's 7 more
Um,
questions.
No,
No,
No?
I'm leaving.
we've hit them all tangentially at some point.
We have. Sorry, guys.
But yeah, swing by cgmagonline.com to read Brendan's Diablo 4 review and Zuby's Street Fighter 6 review because Street Fighter 6 is
Yeah,
like,
he likes that
available
one too.
now.
That game was apparently really good.
There's
I
3
think,
huge games coming out
Diablo's
this
available.
month, and 2 of them are already certified bangers. So
Yeah, no, like Diablo's awesome. Just gonna say it. Don't want to spoil anything. Everyone should play it. It's great.
And it's right now early access. People
it's
have,
early access.
so
If you have
that's
the
probably
super
what, like,
deluxe edition, you can get early access.
if Brendan's really cranky tomorrow, it's because he played Diablo all night. Just so you know.
Accurate.
And he's making me play.
I
I've
am.
heard you'll be able to actually buy it in stores too on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Ooh.
Not you don't have to wait until like midnight on the Tuesday. It's early
Cool.
because of timing globally. So keep that in mind if you're checking that out. Yeah, I'm not a big Diablo fan, but when I saw that 10 out of 10 review, going, oh no, I'm gonna get sucked into this one at some point.
Did you play the other ones, Chris?
I played 3 on the PC, and that's about it. I kind of dabbled in 2 once, but I didn't get too far with it.
I think they did a lot of good things in this one. As I said, no idea how the microtransaction is going to work. I have
Disclaimer,
no idea if
disclaimer.
there's going to make it real weird. And the battle pass comes, and if you don't have the battle pass, you're basically ruining the game. Don't know. But as of right now, it seems like it's just cosmetic, so you can make yourself look real badass if you pay for it.
Remember when we discussed what a hoarder I am?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that goes for battle passes too.
I mean, I think it's
I'm
pretty.
gonna pay for a game that you made me play that I didn't play before. This is bull. You should pay. Be my Diablo sugar daddy. Can we do that? Can I get one of those?
Sugar Diablo,
Feminism.
Sugar Demon.
Jordan, you were you going to play it? Was that what you were talking about before podcast? Diablo.
I mean, I think I have interest in it, but I might.
I made Jordan
hold
remember
off.
he was here, guys.
If I have,
Alright.
I
I
might
have,
hold
I have
off.
friends who might suck me into it, but
It might be.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have a CGM
'Cause-
crew like taking down the
I do
demons.
want to tell you that there's already a game journalists clan, I guess they're called,
Okay.
that we've been invited to. So if anybody
well, now I'm
wants to
insulted that I'm
join-
not invited.
Cool.
And I don't want to play
Well,
Diablo 4
you
anymore.
didn't say you were playing, so join
Well, I
me
didn't
on
know I was gonna
Twitter
get
because I
invited to
got
a friggin'
invited
secret
during
cabal.
this.
Cool.
You can't come to my party. You can't be in my clan. I don't even know what that means in Diablo. I assume it's like a guild.
I don't.
It's
I
gotta be
assume it's.
something good.
I saw very little of that. So
Same thing with
Brendan's so
Street Fighter 6,
antisocial.
actually. Like I'm not a big Street Fighter fan traditionally, and I didn't like 4.
this
or
one
5
looks real good. Like real good.
Did you see the
Yeah.
crap you can
Mhm.
create?
Yeah.
Zuby's a little
Uh-huh.
messed up. I love him dearly. He gets my sense of humor, and he is as broken as I am in the head, it seems. Because you can make some weird crap. He'll appreciate that.
Yeah,
It's fine.
it looks
There
really
is-
cool.
You could make some
There's
weird
some
crap.
interesting screenshots in his review on CGMagazine.
Yeah, I included all of them. Did you see my caption? Yes,
Yes,
this
this
is
is-
from Street Fighter 6. Because I was like,
Weird.
what is this?
on that frog
Like-
So
Blanca
weird.
man.
He's like,
Yeah,
oh, that's a costume you can put on. I was like, yeah, it's going in.
I'm
Yeah,
a
it
little
was
more
real
concerned
weird.
about the portly gentleman below that, but
No, he's
that's-
great.
So
You'll have to head to the
weird.
website to see that for yourself. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us this week. If you'd like to read more on these topics and more, you can follow CG Mag Online on all the socials and at cgmagonline.com, where we'll be posting all the Summer Game Fest news as it happens. Just search for CG Mag Online or CG Mag, and you'll find us on pretty much any platform.
Just all right, bro.
Pretty much any of them. And if you have any questions or comments, you can send them to podcast@cgmagonline.com. Jordan, where can people find you?
I'm around. I don't really use the socials.
He's in
anymore,
that
I'll be
chair
honest,
right
but-
now.
You can find me in the
Sometimes
corner
I'm
of Young
you-
and Eglinton.
Gonna throw it out there,
and,
Jordan. You sound like the biggest hipster when you said that. Like the
Uh,
biggest
yeah.
hipster.
I guess I
Funny.
am. I guess it's come full circle.
Like,
but
you know-
yeah,
Come
no,
on,
I
keep
just-
it on.
I don't. I'm post social media. I
Honestly-
now exist. I don't even have a TV anymore. I just
You've
kind
heard
of
of Mastodon,
exist.
right? I'm on the better version of that.
Yeah, you
Honestly,
haven't heard of it yet because I'm so cool. It's before that.
social media is just kind of boring now. Like Twitter's terrible. TikTok's not interesting anymore. Even Instagram's like, maybe I still do stuff on YouTube at Ninja Jordan Reviews, but that's about
Yeah.
it really. These days.
All right.
Dana, when you're not playing in your secret club that I'm not invited to, where are you gonna be? Where can we find you?
I am pretty much on Twitter, Instagram too. I post some of the dumb stuff we do at the Dana Eileen. I'm on the screen or on the interwebs on the website if you need to spell my name because nobody can. It's my story.
And Brendan.
Brendan.
You can follow me at bfry26 on most things. I think. Well, most of the important things. So.
And
Mastodon.
all the weird new socials that came out that never came to fruition.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm on
I
a
made
few
sure.
of
I
those.
just make sure I
Toby's
get there.
only follower somewhere.
I'm on a few of those, and I've never used them. Basically,
That is the right way to be.
I just
don't
started
try.
yelling at all my friends that didn't invite me when they joined new ones. I was like, that's rude that you didn't tell me. And now I don't want to be your friend. That's pretty much how that went.
That's how that goes, is it?
It's
It sounds
Brendan.
familiar
Brendan
to
is friends,
certain
guys.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like a
friends.
certain sort of situation you described earlier that I wasn't invited
It's
to.
pretty much my life.
And you can find me on Twitter at Hugathy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Because
Cool story.
yeah, it's a blighted wasteland. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us. And thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week ish.
Bye.
Bye.
Finger cut.